Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Portal Reloaded. Let's continue. Yeah, these puzzles are getting longer and more difficult, so that we just did puzzle 12, and it seemed to indicate that there were only 12 puzzles in the entire game, so it is potentially a case here that we're going to be done now, but I don't think so. I think it's more the case that there are actually 25 puzzles and there are 12 chapters, because several of the early puzzles are fairly short, and I could see even having some shorter ones later on. And yeah, I'm still not certain if we've actually run into a point where we were teleported from the future to the past or vice versa.
These lasers should provide a fun change of pace. Please be aware that some test elements may only be functional in one timeline.
Right, so we have a right angle cube, which is I think how it worked for the most part in Portal 2. I guess we're just supposed to look at them, because there's really nothing else you can do in this room. Just know them. And they didn't kill you in the original games, they would just kind of burn you. I think if you stood in front of them after them actively pushing you out of the way for a while, you might die, but you'd have to basically stand in their way for 2 minutes or so. Each of these little icons represents a potential element in the level that is either good or bad. You can see it says 13 of 25. Right, well, so come to the past. If I go through here, that would fizzle my... Well, it seems to fizzle my portals, but not time portals, which seems to be fine. Interestingly, though, there seems to be no actual portals happening in the future or the past, so I don't know what's supposed to be happening here. From the looks of it, I need to get this from that to that point, and this one I guess is supposed to be a receiver, and this one I guess is supposed to be a transmitter. These are kind of new 3D models, I think. In the first portal there were these energy balls and collectors, for lack of a better term, in the energy balls. They opted to go with the lasers for a continuous feed. Yeah. And unlike Portal, seems like these lasers do nothing to you. So either they are incredibly weak, or they just didn't want that to be an element. There you go. Found a way to get burned by them, but oddly, yeah, seems to be fairly limited. They don't seem like they really push you out of the way. If anything, it feels like it's just for show. Okay. Laser is going in, and laser is coming out. But the laser is coming out back into the transmitter, isn't it? When we need it to come into the receiver, which probably means we need some slightly more complicated puzzle here. laser needs to come in this way and then crisscross that way and then come this way and then crisscross that way, but not into the transmitter again, instead into the receiver.
Great. By now, you might be wondering how it is possible to hear these automated messages, regardless of which timeline you're in. We implanted a small device directly into your brain. That way, you can hear these messages as if they were the voice of your own conscience. Well, they practically are, considering how much of your cerebral cortex we had to remove to make this work.
That's kind of funny, but interesting way to get some backstory into the events. Alright, and this seems flashy. There definitely was a section in Portal 2 that was kind of like this too, so it's possible now, after 13, which that puzzle definitely didn't feel like one we'd seen before, that we might be getting somewhat on the path of some of the puzzles in Portal 1 or Portal 2, because arguably now would be a good time for kind of an intermission where it recontextualizes some of the original puzzles now that you can travel in time. And that may be what we're seeing somewhat here. Although this again does not quite feel doesn't quite feel correct. Now the laser is really hitting you. And if there were achievements in this game, I'd almost wonder if it was worth it to kill yourself. But since it's a fan-made thing without achievements, we know it's not necessary. We are in the future. If we time traveled to the past, we probably could get another one of these, which we almost certainly have to have. Because at some point we need that. Although arguably you may not need anywhere as much as it seems. Yeah. So we do need to hit everything. Alright, let's check out the past then. Much cleaner, nicer. Okay. If we could get it to go in this diagonal direction, you'd probably save yourself a carve or two, but it's not worth it. This is probably not the way to do something like this. Yeah, I don't quite get this. Like, portal here. Can't go portal there. Send the laser through. The time portal. Man, you gotta get the angles just right here if you really wanted to do it this way. I can't imagine that this is actually the trick, because that just seems like that's a waste to do it that way. Just feels like it would be way smarter to have your portal like that, and then do something crazy like that. Then guess do something crazy like that. Are we actively now bouncing the signals around? Possibly. We might be making an infinite loop here. Or it might just be a case that because the angles are reflected and mirrored, that it just doesn't matter. Like, whatever angle you have, it will come out and bounce out, and that's why that turned back into a right angle when we did what was almost a 45-degree angle. So I guess the question is that seems like we're using all the beams here, probably in a poor way. I guess the move may be to just try and move this a little bit further back. We may have to just try and inch our way forward. Why this is not working though, I don't know. Guess we probably are aiming for slightly better angles. But I do think it is probably a case where we are aiming for angles and not straight on things. Let's just go back through time again. Yeah. It's like you can't see what you're going for. So best case scenario, just try and line it up with this line. That seems to have almost done it. Yeah. Right in the corner. There we go. And so it's just bouncing it back at a weird angle. Right. Next step is to get the shot. Yeah, and it just doesn't seem like you can get the portals close enough to do that. So I think I'm probably just overcomplicating this. Probably is more just in line with doing that. It's coming through here and through here. Yeah. Almost certainly that's the case. That is going to mean I need to take this and line up that. Hope that's good enough. I guess you maybe have a little bit of a grid on the ground that you might be able to use, but I don't know how effective that really is going to be. I suppose there are 6 of these in reality in the 2 timelines, and you only need 3 of them. Right. But every time you change something in the past, it changes it in the future too. So everything has to be rebalanced. which is going to... Did we get the door open? Nope. This is an element that you do not see in the original games. You don't have situations where maybe I should move the time portal slightly, but I don't think moving the time portal actually affects anything. Yeah, but you definitely don't have situations where you have to just go back and forth. Back and forth. Just actively trying to balance out the two timelines. Like, if anything, one of the beauties of the elements of Portal 1 and Portal 2 is that it is this fairly smooth experience where you really aren't dying and you aren't really struggling. You may run into an occasional difficulty spike, but that's kind of it. Well, we've got everything set up now except this one. So I'm wondering if I just moved the time portal, that would get that to work. I think it did. And even though we didn't get the ding ding to say the door was open the second time, it is open. Now, dangerous part here is that we've kind of blown through 2 or 3 puzzles, so these puzzles have gotten somewhat easier.
Things are about to get a little more complicated in the next chamber. But don't lose hope. Think about this. As long as you don't see your own corpse lying in the future, it is safe to assume that you solved the chamber sometime during the last 20 years.
They've gotten fancy, certainly, with all these lasers. Really, I should just end the episode here, but let's at least look at the puzzle. This might be a lot simpler than it seems. Right, we need to get a cube up there. We've got 4 steps that immediately triggered some music. This seems to get us up to that point. Alright, let's see what's different in the future. We can reach this area. Right. Now, I can send the laser through glass. I can't fairly easily move around portals, though. Like you have a very tight squeeze here where the blue needs to be kind of in the middle, and the orange needs to kind of move over, but then the green wouldn't fit. Though I guess it doesn't matter. Nope, the green does matter because we can't go through the fizzler chamber because that'll just fizzle everything. And we can't put one there. Like, oddly, we're starting to see some destruction or just lack of completion. If anything, it feels like these puzzles may have been never finished or still actively being constructed. Right. Can do that. But neither one of these is going to work. The right way to do this basically requires this and this to be here. What happens when that's lit up? Let's just ask some basic questions. And that lights up. Not a lot seems to happen. Maybe it powers the elevator that you can then stand on and get up. Or maybe this is just the last thing you have to do. Okay. In the past, you don't have the fizzler. But noticeably, the elevator is not working. We can do this. Alright. Noticeably, the elevator is still not working. How do we get the beam up? Because it's basically got to reflect. Okay. And then this is just step one. Would there be any benefit at all? Well, there might be. That's a blue, so we just gotta be kind of careful to put an orange here. Okay, and then that lets me cycle through this. Okay. So now in the present time we have an orange and a blue and kind of nothing more. And in the past, we start to move it. Which that should mean that both things are now enabled. Cool. Now how do we do that? Or change that without killing ourselves or messing something up? Let's just move that there. And that should work. There we go. And this is definitely going to be a puzzle around the idea I think. Of hopefully not coming back to that too often. Okay, we need laser up here, and we need the hand one up, which almost certainly points towards going to the future and grabbing the other one. Right, let's jump over here. No, actually, it may be a little bit easier than all of that. Maybe. Maybe not. Just see if we can even get through here without dying. Okay. The next step to this might be easier than it seems. Can I just make a running jump? It seems like you might be able to. That you might just be able to totally cheat the system to get up to that higher point. Instead of just making it, playing it the difficult way, which is probably to take this with you over here and then take the original cube and try and get the original cube on the other side of this wall. Let's see. That's probably what they'd want you to do is take this, come in from this side, use it like that, making sure you get both. And at that point you don't have any real portal problems or issues, I think. This may be simpler than it seems. Right, that's one. But there's no time travel aspect here. There's kind of no way to solve that part of the puzzle that way. Not that I'm saying, because if you were to come over here and put the old version of this right perfectly where it needed to be, as soon as you tried to move the new version, it would get rid of the old version. So you instead need some kind of portals, and there's just not any portal surfaces that I'm seeing that actually work with that, time travel or otherwise. So if I had instead just built some stairs and done it that way, can't help but wonder if that isn't the right solution. To just take this with you this way, place it there, go in the past and pick this up and take it with you. And then we just try and carefully place these. It would make some more sense, honestly, if these simply dissolved the old one when it touched a new one, because that would stop you from doing these kinds of tricks and settle the question immediately. But nope. As long as that one doesn't fall over, you're cool with that. And then it is just a matter of pulling the correct trigger to get the lasers. And I can't help but think that maybe that is the actual solution there to this. And that they are just trying to be tricky, as some of the portal puzzles are tricky and deceptive. Yeah. Otherwise, I imagine there is just some weird way in which you can both... I don't see how, though. I don't see how you hit the collector and then get another beam, even with the time portal, and then split that other beam far enough away that you could then hit a surface that has to either be way over here or 180 degrees in the opposite direction. Yeah. Neither one of those really come off as potential solutions. I am actively at this point over saving, which is not a problem by any means. But yeah. I definitely am not running into any real issues with the game running smoothly or anything like that, which it could certainly have had that problem, but it doesn't seem like it did. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.